Hello everybody, I'm the Tribox Gamer and welcome back to Minecraft. This is Peaceful Mode. I'm trying to beat the game without going on to a different difficulty other than Peaceful Mode. Let's see how far we could get. Sadly, I've lost my way home. I don't know where to go, so I am going to make myself a little compass and head back home. You know what? I'm just calling it here with the panda stuff. One, I look the drop rate of a slime ball for every time a panda sneezes. It's a 1 out of 700 chance of them actually dropping a slime ball. I don't have the patience for that. I mean, I kinda already made the whole spawn thing, but I don't think it's working. Which kinda sucks, because I did look up a video on how to make it, but yeah, you know what? I don't want to wait for a panda to sneeze out one slime ball. At this point, I might as well just find a wandering trader, wandering villager, and trade with him, and hope he has slime balls on him. Which means I'm gonna have to farm up some emeralds with other villagers. I'm pretty sure that by then I already, like, you know, I'm positive I... Get out of my way. Why can't... Positive I put them in their place. Oh, I'm more than positive. I think I remember doing that, so the villagers at home should be where they're needed to be. You two. Oh. Oh, man, it's been quite a bit. You're all fully grown. Well. Huh. You know, the thing is, I am kind of lost. I don't have any leads either, so I'm just gonna, like, need to walk from here. Don't worry, I'll remember this place, hopefully. And I'll be back for you. I say, hoping that I don't forget where I'm positive I'll find my way back. We'll get them in a different episode. It'd just be a whole lot easier if I had leads on me. Am I still gonna talk about zombies? Because that's the last thing I've been doing for the last few videos. Yeah, kinda. I wanted to end it off with Left 4 Dead because that was one zombie game I was kind of avoiding because, one, I just really like it. Two, I didn't know how long we were going to stick with the pandas. I thought that if we're going to be here any longer, I might as well talk about something that I would have, you know, known a little more about. Because as a kid, I absolutely loved Left 4 Dead. I don't even know where I first saw it. Like, I think I saw one of my cousin's friends play it, and then I asked to play, and yeah, it had me hooked instantly. And I remember when I first played, the first thing I did was run into a witch, shot it, think it was a zombie, and, well, it scared me. I learned real fast not to shoot one of them. Anyway, survivability in the Left 4 Dead universe. I want to say, as a rule of thumb, because in the game you play as someone who's immune to the infection, for the sake of argument, you're immune. I mean, you can be not immune either, but the thing is, in the lore with this, you're not really fighting... Will this count as zombies, now that I think about it? Because the zombies you fight, and a big spoiler if you have not played the game, those aren't real zombies. Those are actually just sick people. They're infected with a virus, but they are not really zombies, so... yeah, do with that information as you will. I was kind of shocked hearing about that when I read the comic. It's like, ooh. Can you get in the boat? Can I take you? Can we be friends, little squid dude? No? That'll be funny. You just look around and the squid's like in the boat. It's like, can you please put me in the water? I don't do well with being on land. Well, squid dude, if you don't do well on land, why do I find you flopping about land half the time? Seriously, have you ever seen squids in this game? I swear, 9 times out of 10, they get on land and, you know, poof. Oh, it's so good to be back home. You know, it's actually not far from here, so... Huh. Look, I get lost very easily if I don't have a map on me, and I don't have a map on me. So, I'm glad I actually was able to find... If I didn't make the compass, I'd be lost. Like, I would not be able to find my home forever. I'm bad at navigation in games, so... Going back to what I was saying, yeah, the infected in Left 4 Dead aren't really zombies, they're just very, very sick people. if I recall correctly. So if you're immune, you kind of avoid the sickness, but if you're not immune, you get sick, basically. I mean, no duh. So, I mean, if we want to be technical, you're not dead, so you're technically surviving up until, you know, you don't. But for sake of argument, let's say that we're immune. So, the survivors you play as in the game, they are varied in characteristics and background and skill with guns. So, it's safe to say that even if you suck at shooting, and heck, with Left 4 Dead 2 introducing melee weapons, you don't have to rely on guns. You can just beat everything with a melee. So, you don't have to be super skilled to survive the zombie apocalypse. Or, apocalypse. I'm not sure what to call this. If it's technically not zombies. What does this even count as me talking about zombies if they're technically not zombies? They're zombie-like. And I think that unless you ran into the military station that kind of gave out that information, you wouldn't know that they're sick people. So, yeah, for sake of argument, we'll just think that they're zombies. I mean, they act like zombies, except for the part where they try to eat it. They only try to beat the tar out of you, if you notice. So, say that we're in this universe, the difficulty, I would imagine, be experts. Being the hardest difficulty. A normal zombie, a common infected, could hit you like maybe 5 times before you get, you know, down. But on the bright side, just because you get down doesn't mean you die outright. If a friend's there to help you up, you still get brought up. And I think if I remember correctly, even if you were to, say, die in-game, the developers had a commentary where the reason why that the players get revived in a closet is because they get beat up, they're kind of down, they crawl away and hide in a closet until they feel ready again, but they ended up locking themselves in, and that's why they call for help and not stay dead. Of course, I think in realism, that feature's disabled. Huh. You know, maybe I'm just thinking, I'm just overthinking this. So we're gonna go with the common infected. I say 7 out of 10. I give them a 7 out of 10. They aren't that hard to deal with, for starters. And, you know what? It's not like they have any special thing about them. They just kind of run at you and, like, swarm you. That's their biggest threat, is the amount they have to deal with. Like, if you have a horde on you, they're dangerous. That goes from a 7 to probably, depending on how bad the horde is, I'd say as low as, like, a 4. But overall, 7 out of 10. Now, aside from the common infected, there are also uncommon infected, which, you know, they kind of play the same as the common infected. So there's not much of a difference. I mean, they have some quirks that do change them. Like, for example, the CETA worker, they're immune to fire. In Dark Carnival, you have clowns, which attract zombies to you. In Swamp Fever, you have the swamp men, which, if they hit you, it kind of muddies your vision a bit. In Hard Rain, you have the worker, uncommon infected, which are only immune to, you know, pipe bombs. That's not really giving them much to work with. And then I think it's the Parish. You have the Riot Gear uncommon infected, which, as the name indicates, they wear riot gear. The only way you could beat them is by turning them around and hitting them in the back. And the Pathing, it does have this one uncommon infected called the Fallen Survivor, but they don't really attack you. They kind of just run away. Attacking them gets you a new item, so it's worth to go after. But the point is, they have small little quirks that are different from the normal zombies, but out of dealing with them, they're no different than the common infected. I think the only one that might be a little more troubling to deal with would be the Riot Gear ones, as that's the one that you have to actively, like, switch up how you beat them. So, a small group of them might make you a little... Just, like, it goes from 7 to 6. On the grounds that they're just a slight minor inconvenience when you're dealing with the common infected. No, well, if I'm to be technical, there is another one, but it is so rare that it wouldn't pop up. Like, you could argue that the swamp man could pop up in a sewer. You could argue that the workers could pop up in a construction site. You could kind of argue where these uncommon infected will pop up outside the level that introduces them. The only one that doesn't make sense would be the Jimmy Gibbs Jr. uncommon infected, which is only at the mall in Dead Center. Oh boy, you know what? This guy actually has a high amount of health. So for the most part, most uncommon have 150 HP. You will not guess who has the lowest. It's actually the Riot Gear one, which has only 50. Which makes sense. You spin them once and hit them and they're kind of done. But the Jimmy Gibbs Jr. uncommon infected has 3000 HP outside of easy mode. So that is a lot of health there. Like, oh boy, that is a great amount of health. And even then, even with that much HP, it's still not that big of a threat. I'd say, yeah, you know, it's still 6 out of 10, because they do have, like, a slight change that can hinder you, but on retrospect and dealing with them, they're just, like, very common infected. So yeah, 6 out of 10 feels fitting for the uncommon infected, just like a point off. Now we get into the special infected. I'm going to start with the Boomer. Now, survival rating, I would say pretty high up there. I'm going to say an 8 out of 10. One, you're going to hear him from a distance. So, like, if a Boomer sneaks up on you, you're either deaf or you're just not paying attention. The fact that you could just take one little shot and it pops them also kind of contributes to why they're 8 out of 10. But the thing is that they could also be very dangerous in a situational area. Say you have to go down like a corridor, it's tight, and, well, if a Boomer pops up and barfs on you, or if you take it out getting too close, then that bile is going to hit you, and that's going to attract a horde. Worse is that when you're covered in bile, you're kind of blind, so, yeah. He can be dangerous, and if you play on expert, it's kind of... I never thought I would be afraid of hearing indigestion from the distance. Like, oh, it's a horrifying sound when you hear them around. Like, honestly, just for their ability to blind you and get a horde on you, I make them my top priority takeouts before I deal with anything else. Or at least try to. But surviving them, I feel like in a fight you easily win. If you can't easily overpower a Boomer, you could very much run faster than them. So, yeah. Next up, I'm gonna give it to the Smoker. Smoker, I'm gonna say, well, if your friends aren't paying attention, it'd be pretty low, but I'm gonna assume that the people with me are at least somewhat competent and not AI bots, so I say 5 out of 10. It grapples you, which is why it's dangerous. It can take you out from a distance. Heck, it could even, you know, pull you up dangerous heights if you're not careful. I mean, on the bright side, the tongue's not too hard to break. I mean, a simple shove just breaks the tongue, so it's somewhat vulnerable. It's just, well, you can't outrun this thing. It's got range on you. If you try to run away, it's just gonna snag you and pull you back. Very scary if you're running away from a horde and then get grabbed by one of them. I think 5 out of 10 feels fitting. I mean, I'm not really going to focus on health between the infected because that changes with difficulty, but it does take a couple shots just to get them, so durable-wise, it's pretty tough. Not too tough where it's, oh, we all need to band together to take them out, but it's like tough enough where you need to be a little precise with how you shoot them. Otherwise, you know, don't hit the mark. Next up, I'm gonna give it to the Hunter. Now, how would I rank this? Because I'm starting to think about the infected, and now a lot of them could easily be shoved off from you. And they always have like a... They have a tell when they're going to strike, or they have a tell to give away their position, so stealth isn't really going to work for most of them. The Hunter kind of operates slightly better with stealth, but the second that he's crouched down, when he's ready to pounce, that's when he does make a growling noise. So when you hear that growl, that's best to assume that he's got eyes on you or someone nearby. I mean, even then, if he does pounce on you, a simple shove shoves him right off. Like, strength-wise, I wouldn't say they're anything to be afraid of, but say that you're in a bad spot and you get grabbed by a hunter, smoker, or anything like that, then yeah, it's all situational with the danger rating, now that I think about it. Give it a 5 out of 10, but that's because I'm starting to think that if it were low, it's because it was in a bad situation to begin with. I mean, when you have an elderly dude in your party that could still beat the, special infected, it's like, they can't be that hard to deal with, especially if you have other members on your team. Like, I'm thinking in this situation that we would have, at least 3 other people. As in the game, if you're traveling with a group. I just think that's, a no-brainer for this hypothetical. So, say that you're in this group and the special infected attack you. I think for the most part it's a 5 out of 10 because it's going to rely on how you guys communicate and react to when things start hitting the fan. So, wow, I think the infected here just like get that just based on like, you know, how you deal with them. Unless we talk how we're gonna deal by ourselves, and that's just a different ballpark there. Like, okay, that changes up the difficulty quite greatly because, well, most of the special infected that you fight have a move that could pin you or incapacitate you. And they don't let go until you're dead, so yeah. How would I do that by myself? You know, I think I'm gonna stick with the 8 out of 10 for the boomer on the grounds that, yeah, he's kind of like, he's kind of a double-edged sword. Don't get me wrong, he could bring a lot of harm to me if he gets close, but I could easily pop him. He also doesn't have any moves that will keep me incapacitated, so yeah, I feel pretty good with him. Smoker, oh boy, that 5 out of 10, I'm just gonna say it goes to a 3 out of 10 because knowing my dumb luck, I probably have heard where he's coming from. I just don't know where he popped up and got grabbed. Probably, like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, a lot of the special infected that you fight, like I said, they have a noise to let you know that they're nearby. It's just, with that noise, like, you can't really sneak up on somebody if you know that they're popping up. You know? Would I know where they are instantly? No. But I know that they're around. That gives me a hint to be alert. I think the 5 out of 10 just goes to a 3 out of 10 for most. Like, okay. Would you be able to overpower them if you get caught? That could be a question we could go with. With the smoker, since his tongue is already kind of fragile, like it's weak enough where you could push it off. If you had a knife on you, you could probably cut it off. So, I think maybe. I'm still gonna leave it like at 3 out of 10. With the hunter, they pin you to the ground. Would you be able to kick them off if you get good footing? I can see that. Again, if it just takes a normal shove to get them off, the survivor, then they shouldn't be that hard to deal with if you get in a good position. Who's next? Who's next before I decide to go solo? Cover the boomer, smoker, hunter, charger. Let's go with charger. I want to say 2 out of 10. If they grab you, I want to say you can't get out of that hold. I'm sorry, I can't really see anybody overpowering them. You always need someone else to help you out. I mean, that you could say that with others, but you could argue with those that you could easily break out if you're luckier. Just know how to position yourself. With the charger, he literally grabs your body and slams you into a wall. Or roof if you get the animation just right, but getting out by yourself don't seem too plausible, honestly. So yeah, 2 out of 10. I mean, if you want to be fair, if you want to be technical, again, you have the whole noise thing. If he charges at you, it's like dodging a bull. Once it charges, it can't really steer the direction. So if you bait and switch them, I think you might have a good chance on surviving. Now, what's next? Who's next? We got the Boomer, we got the Hunter, we got the Smoker, we got the Charger. Let's go with the Jockey. Am I the only one that thinks that you could just, like, punt a Jockey? Like, just straight up punt a Jockey? Like, yeah, he jumps on your back and he, like, forces you to move around, but what's stopping you from, like, slamming him into a wall? I say that you would have a 5 out of 10 chance with him. Because he's small, kind of tiny. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's slightly annoying, like, but I still see that you could easily, like, ram him into a wall, you know? Like, you turn the tables on him. Like, he's not that threatening. Like, he's annoying, if anything, but threatening? I say no, not really. Next, I'm gonna go over the spitter, which, as the name indicates, it spits at you, because I swear, every zombie game, everything with a zombie has a few special, or, you know, special zombie. I swear, it must be like a core need to have one that spits at you. You have one that's super strong, and you have one that's very fast, and then you have one that spits something at you. It's like, why these three specifically? Is it because they're just constantly dangerous, or is it like a trend? Like, ever think about that? But anyway, spitters, well, on the bright side, they don't have anything that'll grapple you and, you know, pin you down, but they, as the name indicates, spit acid at you. I don't know exactly how far they could spit, but if you're caught lacking, you're caught lacking. It does show that it burns and hurts pretty bad in game too, so I'm assuming it's some very bad stuff. And I'm also trying to keep track, like, how often in game, and, like, again, it's bad situations. Like, I'm either getting murked by a bunch of common infected, and a spitter pops by and spits on me, and that's why I usually get got by a spitter. But typically, if that weren't the case, then once it hits the ground and I start taking damage, I move. Melee is kind of frowned upon when you fight her too, because if you were to attack her with a melee when she goes, she leaves a little puddle of acid too, so it's like, you gotta get good with guns to deal with this one, so... what would I rank her? Okay, so... Melee's out. Well, I guess it's not out. You could still hit her with something, it's just gonna hurt you, you know, on the rebound, but... does not pin you. Can use a long-range attack that causes acid to hit, but the thing is, once she kind of hits, it goes away after a few seconds. So that's not too bad. It's not like you're gonna be trapped on one side, so that should be good enough. And, you know, like with the Charger, once she spits somewhere, it's not like she could redirect the shot. So I think 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10, like, survival rank. I guess if I'm caught lacking, it'll be lower, but again, with the whole infected making sounds for themselves, I feel like that gives me an audio cue to be prepared for what's about to hit me. Now we have the last two big special infected, which are the Witch and the Tank. If I said, hey, I survive a tank 10 out of 10, would you believe me? I'm just built different when I fight a tank. A 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 with a tank, easily. If we use difficulty as a canon thing with our own, you know, reality, a tank on expert difficulty could one-shot you. So, yeah. I mean, I can argue that if I'm okay, I could run away, because if you're in green health in-game, you could easily outrun a tank. Granted, it does also have, like, a range ability, but their range ability is literally just picking up a piece of rock and yeeting it at you, so... I mean, that can still hurt. It can still hurt pretty bad if it hits. They could also throw cars at you too, so yeah, you know what, a 1 out of 10 feels pretty no-brainer with this guy. The only reason I have a 1 out of 10 is I could easily outrun him if I really needed to. I mean, yeah, I will acknowledge the whole rock or car getting yeeted at me from a distance thing, but I'd still say 1 out of 10. That just feels kind of appropriate. Alone, that's what I rank. If I had, like, a group with me, I still say it's you know, it's not going to be a 5 out of 10. I say it's a 4 out of 10 with a group on the grounds that if we don't work together and take it down cooperatively, we're kind of dead. I guess you could say we'll be Left 4 Dead. I hate myself, don't worry. I know that's a stupid joke. But on to the last one, which is the witch. I'm gonna have to say 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. If I could sneak past her, I'm good. The thing is, if I can't sneak past her, I'm dead. Or would that count as a 5 out of 10? Because I am doing a 50-50 here. Like, okay, say you're able to sneak past her. That's it. You don't have to deal with her. You're good. You're fine. You survived. But if you get caught, you're straight up dead. I mean, now that I think about it, there are variants to the witch. There's the wandering witch, and then there's the normal stationary one. The stationary one appears at night, and it usually just stays in place. Usually the path it's in is kind of where you need to be, so it kind of inconveniences you there. However, the Wandering Witch moves about, and while they don't, you know, full-on run around, they do get in the way, and if you're already, like, in a zombie firefight, it might not be the greatest idea to, you know, get close to said witch. So, I guess if we're talking about the stationary witch, that'd be a 5 out of 10. It's either you sneak past or you die. Again, assuming that's how the whole 50-50 thing works, like it's a 50-50 shot. I mean, that would make sense. Like, the others being low would be like, yeah, you can, but you probably won't survive. So I guess that does make sense. With the Wandering Witch, again, it's just, if you don't bump into her, yeah, you'll be fine. It's just, she's wandering now. It's like, you have more of a chance to run into her rather than her sitting down. So I think, yeah, just still the same 50-50. Like, you got that whole 5 out of 10, like, yeah. So, surviving in Left 4 Dead, if you're with the traditional group of 4, I give 50% chance of surviving. Like, yeah, that's a good chance of surviving there. Alone, less than 50%. And that's, you know, just less than 50%. You still have a good chance of surviving, there's just less than 50%. Let's see, my percentage, I said, I didn't cover the common affected for being alone. I say 6 out of 10 for the common affected. You know what, it's going to stay 6 out of 10 for the uncommon affected. So, let me tally up my score real quick. Alright, Boomer's 8, Smoker's 3, Hunter's 3, Charger was a 2, Jockey was a 5, Spitter I think was 4, Tank is a 1, Witch is a 5, 50-50 shot there. Common affected were a 6, and uncommon affected, I'm just gonna keep that. Like, I don't think that they really changed much. I know, like, yeah, you know what, yeah, I'm just gonna follow up and say 5, just like keep it consistent. And getting the average between those numbers lends me 42, so 42% chance of surviving. Not bad. I mean, that's not 50-50, but it ain't bad. I mean, hold on, let me actually do that whole thing with the formula now that I think about it. So, I think for the most part, everything would be like a 5 out of 10, so hold up. Alright, so, using the same calculation, which if you're wondering what I'm using, where I'm just finding the average. I'm not really going full into the whole percent things like I did with the other video. So, yeah, for if you had a team of 4 and if you're competent enough, I'd say it was a little above 55%. It was a 5.5, which I think counts as like 50% and like feels that it kind of feels like it'd be that way, you know? And also right now I just really don't feel like getting into mathematics. So with that being said, we're going to end the video here. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care. Please like and subscribe and have a great day.